each and every one of us needs to get out every once in a while just to escape the stress and toxic environment of our daily lives. Hence, you need a perfect bike for that para talagang masasabayan ka sa adventure mo. Kaya naman, what we have right now is dubbed as the Master of Adventure. This is the Suzuki Vstrom 1050 XT, priced at 859,000 pesos. Tingnan natin what this bike has to offer. First, what we have to talk about is the looks, yung forma ng motor na to. Let's go in front first. So, what I like about this bike is you can really see the identity of this being an adventure bike. Obviously, it's very tall. I am 5'10" in height, just you can use me as a reference. So, it has that imposing size. So, even and everywhere you go, you will really be noticed. Everyone will take a look at you. Yung second look na tinatawag natin because of how imposing the bike is. If we will dive into the details, what we have right here in front are the beaks. This is the signature actually for most of the adventure bikes, and it's coupled with the colored trimmings right here with the black and then the rectangular, almost square shaped headlight assembly. Another thing is that we have an accent right here heading up into the windshield, which is gray silver in color, which also complements the yellow and then the black trimmings or the black shade that we have over here. And again, this being an adventure bike, another thing that I like about the looks for this one is the functional windshield. So just to let you know, this is adjustable. Unlike other adjustable windshield in which you will have 1, 2, 3 levels, ito medyo mas free siya. Why? Because you just have to unlock this one and it's really up to you as to how you will adjust it. So free flow. Wala tong lock or levels to lock your windshield on. So it's really up to you as to how you want the settings to be. And then going down, still at the front, you can see the high clearance when it comes to the suspension from the beak, from the fairings. So again, builds that adventure identity. Heading over to the side, what we have right here is first we have air cowling. This aids in aerodynamics, especially when you are speeding up. But from what you can see, if you're just going to check the colored or the painted part of the motorcycle, you can see the Vstrom identity. So you have the V here, the V here, the V here. So it really took the character of the Vstrom bike with the shapes and the lines. And then you can see the subtle lines right here, yung mga soft lines lang, just really adding accent to the bike. Very minimal decals. We just have the Suzuki branding, the Vstrom branding, and then the 1050 branding right here. But other than that, very simple. For the look, especially if you're looking at it from the side, what the Vstrom brings you is really the imposing character of the bike. Over here, I like the fact that Suzuki brought in a really unique seat. So this is colored gray with a combination of the Suzuki blue. So really nice touch and accent, combining it with the yellow accent that we have for the body. I also noticed, pagdating naman dito sa gilid, meron ng mga nakaabang the bolts. These are really slots for the side panniers if in case you want to install some. And also, heading over to the rear, we already have a grab bar and obviously a bracket. So just in case you want to install top box or other boxes, then this is already readily usable. Over the rear, what we have is a simple yet elegant LED taillight assembly. Pero we have the side winkers right here. Medyo malaki siya, medyo mahaba siya as how I would want it. But very simple lang with it if you're viewing the motorcycle at the rear. And additional accent and design as well is the functional handguard. So we all know what this is for. So in case you drop the bike, so your brake levers will not be damaged right away. So this is already built in when you purchase the bike out of the dealership. So it also adds on the overall design of this being an adventure bike, adds to that accent and identity. The crash guard comes as an additional accessory. So if you're purchasing this out of the casa, out of the dealership, then you won't have this, but you can purchase this as an option. And then what I noticed as well over the side, foot pegs for your pillion, for your passenger rider, how it's all colored black so that it doesn't confuse, it doesn't over design all the things that you have right here, so all colored black. So really what's highlighted is really the yellow fairings over here this side. So here in the Philippines, we have 4 colors available. We have this one, the yellow. We have the orange. Wala pa akong masyadong nakita dito sa Pilipinas nun. And we also have the black and the gray color. Next, let's talk about the engine. The Vstrom 1050 houses 1037cc engine displacement, 4-stroke, 2-cylinder, liquid-cooled dual overhead cam with V-twin engine. It can generate 105 horsepower and 100 Newton meters worth of torque. This also has a 6-speed gearbox and fuel injected na rin. So this type of Suzuki engine has been around for about a decade now. The engine type, engine profile already received some upgrades over the years, so it's very hard to find fault in what the engine or what the Vstrom engine has at this point. It's almost perfect. The engine can be intimidating for new riders because of the power that it can generate, especially at lower gears, especially the 1, 2, 3. It really packs a punch. But when you get to gears 4, 5, 6, that's where you will find the sweet spot in terms of really just cruising and really enjoying the bike. This is not the most powerful bike in its segment, having in the 1000cc adventure bike category, but the power is really effortless, meaning to say it really transitions smooth when you are riding it. When it comes to shifting, the gearbox are really smooth. It's very easy to transition, and the clutch, being a hydraulic clutch, very easy to use. It's very light, so napakagaan, napakadali lang niyang gamitin is shift. So I'm sure you will enjoy it. I'm pretty sure I have. When it comes to the fuel consumption for the Vstrom 1050, in the few hundred kilometers that I've used this, I was able to produce 15.3 kilometers per liter. And that's really just going all out and really just throttling all the way up and really speeding up. So very good engine, respectable for its fuel consumption, but according to Suzuki, depending on your ride habits, you can still go up to 17 kilometers per liter. Whenever we have a powerful engine, we should have capable brakes as well. Right at front, we have Tokiko branded brakes, dual 4-piston calipers that clamp onto 310mm rotors. The back brake naman sa rear uses 2-piston Nissin caliper and a single 260mm rotor. The brakes are totally fine for all, but for the most aggressive road use, I appreciate the amount of initial bite followed by plenty of easy modulation up to the point of ABS engagement. So when it comes to the use of ABS and ABS activation, this is something that you can adjust. Another feature that I like about this motorcycle. So it just gives me more freedom to play around with the bike, especially on this type of roads wherein I want to turn off the ABS a little bit and just play with the bikes a little more. So I appreciate that fact. Also, that allowance and modulation just gives me that freedom, but at the same time also gives me that confidence that I have the sufficient braking power to go along with a capable engine for the Vstrom. Next, let's talk about the wheels and tires for this badass bike. What we have in front of us is 180 by 19. Take note that these are already tubeless, but at the same time we have spoke wheels. So this type of setup doesn't come on the bikes at this price point. So we can say that this is already a bonus. This is good to have for the Vstrom category, given that we already have spoke wheels. So the purpose of the spoke wheels is these spokes are adjustable. They can bend a little bit so that it doesn't damage the entirety of the wheels, especially if you do a little off-roading. And tubeless tires, this is also branded. This is already Bridgestone tires, so one of the trusted tires, especially in the motorcycle industry. Heading over to the rear, we have 150 70 by 17. So looks good, but more importantly, the function is there. When I was using this one, I used this on dirt roads, on gravel, on paved roads. Even when it was raining, I did not feel any slippage. So it's very comfortable, it's very easy to manage, also dependable. So good job for the tire specs for this one, Suzuki. When it comes to the suspension, obviously for an adventure bike, what we are going for is really the comfort in riding. So in my experience, when I was using the Vstrom 1050 XT on a lot of my rides, the suspension is perfect for me. First off, it has the functionality of the front suspension being adjustable. Same thing with the rear suspension. That's already a huge plus, again, given its price point, that you can have adjustable suspension on both the front and the rear. But when it comes to my comfort, I don't have any complaints. I can go for hours and hours of riding this motorcycle, even on paved roads, even on rough roads, because the rebound, the compression is just enough. At least for my weight, I'm about 210 pounds. So I couldn't say anything negative when it comes to suspension. I like the suspension. I like the performance for this bike, coupled with the handling of the tires. Very good. When it comes to the riding position, you can use me as a reference. I am 5'10" in height. The seat height for this one is 850 millimeters. So as you can see, I'm a little bit tiptoed when reaching the ground. If you are not an experienced rider, I wouldn't recommend this to shorter rider, maybe 5'5" and below. Just so you can see, I will invite my friend over here, Koi Moto Vlog, so you can see the ground reach if you are about 5'5" and below. But when it comes to the position itself, I like the fact that standard feet position, wide handlebars for easier control, and additional comfort in riding when you have the windshield right here, because it deflects all the wind coming to you, so that's less stress on your travel. The seats are just enough in terms of width so that my butts are comfortably placed. I am comfortable sitting down, just like what I mentioned earlier. I can go for hours and hours riding this bike and really wouldn't feel a thing. The bike is kind of heavy though. This weighs about 247 kilograms curb weight. So if you're maneuvering through heavy traffic in the metro, it's not something that you would want to experience on the Vstrom 1050. But the advantage of that is, this being high in frame, you can see the traffic better as opposed to the smaller bikes. But what I can say is that in terms of the weight and the size and the width, this bike is not something that's necessarily built for your daily commute. But when it comes to long ride, adventure, off-road, paved roads, this can be a perfect option for you. And as I mentioned, Koi Moto Vlog, let's call on him. He is 5'5" in height. Para matansa nyo. So this is Koi Moto Vlog from what you can see. So as you can see, he can still handle the bike even without the side stand, but he's already tiptoed. He can still support the bike just so long as you are on even roads. Siguro magkakaroon challenge if medyo pababa, di ba? Hindi pantay. And again, just like what I mentioned, the bike is a little heavy, which is expected on most of the adventure bikes. But yeah, you can still manage it. Apart from the basic functions, what I'm really excited to talk about is really the features for this one. It's one of the better features that I've had when it comes to using a bike. So first off, we have an all-digital panel, digital display right here. And from what you can see, it's still very visible even if we are in the middle of noon shooting our video in the midst of a hot sun. Damn it. But you can see all the information here. We have a very useful gear indicator, the RPM, the fuel gauge, even when it comes to our average fuel consumption, remaining kilometers when it comes to the gas. So it's very useful. What I like about this one is we also have the riding modes. Again, at its price point, I take it that this comes as a bonus. So we have 3 riding modes, from being very active or aggressive all the way to the normal or the modulated one. You would also have an adjustable traction control. So it comes in 3 levels, levels 1, 2, and 3. But you will also have the option to turn it off. So I usually turn it off when I'm riding on these type of roads, just so I can play around with the bike. And you would also have ABS mode settings, which comes in 2 levels. So you have levels 1 and then level 2. So very good electronics, smart bike as I should say. Very practical as well when riding. Additional features that I saw, some of the folks may not realize this, but I have an additional bar right here. So I can use when it comes to installing gadgets, bars, phone holders, and whatever. So this is very functional apart from the adjustable windshield. The digital panel is also very easy to use with the very simple toggle switch right here. So I just have the mode and then the up and down. So it's very easy for me to control my digital panel. It also comes with a passing switch right here, and then the integrated engine kill switch and start button. So the engine kill switch is not located separately anymore. It comes with the engine start, so it doesn't confuse you. It also has a built-in hazard button. And I would say the favorite feature for the Vstrom 1050 is really the cruise control. So when it comes to cruise control, how it should be done is that you should at least be at 4th gear. So 4th, 5th, or 6th. So once you achieve that gear, you just have to press the cruise control button, and then you just have to achieve the certain speed that you want. So on cases, I do cruise control at 100 kilometers per hour. When I am set, after pressing this, I just have to press set, this one, and then I'm off. I could just let go of the throttle and just enjoy the ride. That way, hindi ako masyado mangangagay. So, especially if you're riding for hours, if you're joining some endurance challenge, or just really just going out of town and you have to travel hundreds of kilometers outside of Metro Manila. So that's something that's very useful because it lessens the stress of me having to throttle all the time. So, I would say I really enjoyed that feature. Cruise control, okay yan. And this is our motorcycle feature for the day. Again, for more updates, reviews, and tips when it comes to motorcycle riding, just be sure to follow all of my social media pages katulad ng Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube. Paano? I still have 200 kilometers to go. Papasyag na muna ako. See you on our next adventure. Sumabit pa. Salut! What is dubbed as the master of the... Okay, gan patapos sa isa pa. Init. Okay, game. Hence, the motor's free... dito na. Price at 859,000... Price at 800... Ayoko na, ulitin ko na lang. Hot. Okay. So, it really took... Kodigo! English. Ay, nabuo din.